Hi everyone. So what are we going to learn today is about a teacher, but not a teacher who has always taught you, but someone who has you have closely observed them, but maybe never have given them some such sort of attention which they actually should have received from each one of us. Moving forth, so what's the theme of this poem or a chapter or story, whatever you call it as, is that it teaches us about the tiniest teacher we can learn from. It tells us about the ant who can be a great teacher if we look closely. So why we have to give a closer look is because this creature is so tiny that sometimes it go unnoticeable, and that is why if we pay attention we will be able to understand what are the different qualities that they possess. An ant is a creature that can teach us great things about how to become disciplined and more. They are so small yet they fulfill all their duties with full dedication. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. Is it the mosquito? No, not the mosquito. Then it must be worm. No, none of these. So, the way we have started chapter is like, now you might have a question that of course they are the tiniest ones. A mosquito is very small, a worm is very small, a fly is very small, but the other characteristic that I have asked you, that whether you have seen the wisest one, none of them are as wise as an ant is. It is the ant, the commonest, the smallest but the wisest insect. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue, but people have kept ants as pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. Now, you know, like the way we go and buy dogs and cats and parrots to have them as our pets in the family, we never go and buy ants. But each one of us, I am sure each one of us has ample number of ants in our family, and that is why we say that we have kept them as our pets. So, we know a number of facts about this tiny, hard-working and intelligent creature. An ant uses its feelers or antennae to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. Each ant greets all others coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. And there are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black or the red ones. So, what is there that we are discussing over here is that though there are many kind of ants, but the two types that we have commonly observed are the red ants and the black ants. But it is not like that, that only the entire species of the ants consist of these two type of ants. There are several, and if you really want to know more about them, you can always watch Discovery Channel, wherein you will get ample of information about different type of creatures including the ants. And why I am suggesting you this is like I personally watch it, and that is how I get to know. One fact about ants is that they don't sleep. They keep on working the whole day, the whole night, they don't sleep at all. We have seen them since we were children, but haven't paid enough attention to them, right? Who pays attention to something or someone that is in huge number around us and someone who is uninvited? We never invite ants, but yes, they are always around us. Where do they live? In their comfortable homes called nests or ant hills. Each has 100 little rooms and passages. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lay eggs. So, if you have seen, every time ants are busy digging the walls, busy digging the floors, anywhere they are busy digging. So, when do they dig these things, these places, what do they do is like they build ant hills, and in those ant hills there are several rooms for each category of ants. So, like in our family we have a hierarchy, we have Dadaji, Nanaji, then Mama, Papa, then we all children. Similarly, in ants family also there are many type of people, or you can say there is always a hierarchy that is being followed. Others are nurseries for the young ones called grubs. So, in the ant hills there are several rooms, and then there are nurseries also which are for the grubs, that means the new ones, the newborn ones. Workers have their reserved quarters. They spend most of their time searching for the food. So, all the ants that you see who are going and coming and they are carrying the crumbs of the food, they are basically the worker ants. They spend most of their time searching for the food. So what do? Is like they always search for the food. Some rooms serve as a storehouse for this food, and also soldiers have separate barracks. So what are the kind of the ants that we have discussed so far? Is there is queen ant, there are soldier ants, and also there are servant ants. So what do? Is like worker ants are collecting the food, they are keeping it in the storehouse, like we keep the extra ration in the storehouse. Similarly, they are collecting the food, but not all of it is being utilized together. So whatever is extra is being kept in the storehouse. And then there are soldier ants also, who make sure that nobody enters their reserved area, or maybe the ant hills, or maybe the rooms that they have built. No worker has ever tried to live in a soldier's house, and no soldier has ever gone out for searching for the food. No worker or soldier or cleaner has ever harmed a grub. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. And why it is peaceful? Because nobody interferes in other person's life, and also nobody interrupts in the work of what the other person has been delegated to. That is why we have concluded that ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely, and never fights with other members of the group. The queen is the mother of the entire population of the colony. It lives for about 15 years. It has a pair of wings, but bites them off after its wedding flight. So there is a ritual that, like we as humans have. Similarly, there is a ritual that is there in ant's family also, the queen ant. Why she is the queen ant? Because she has a different kind of appearance. She has wings which other ants they don't have. And on her wedding flight, what happens is like she bites off her those wings. This flight takes place on a hot summer day. The queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant, a drone, high up in the air. Why were those wings given to her? So that she can fly up and she can go and meet the male ant. And what do we call the male ant? As the drone. On its return to earth, it gets rid of those wings and then does nothing but lay eggs. So once she goes up and she meets that male ant, her only job is to keep laying the eggs. Eggs hatch and grubs come out, and what do the soldiers do? They guard them. Workers feed them and clean them, and also carry them about daily for airing, exercise and sunshine. Like the way we take care of our little ones, like we have caretakers in our family who make sure that the little ones are taken care of nicely. Similarly, there are worker ants, and their duty is to take care of all the grubs that has come out of the eggs. 2 or 3 weeks later, grubs become cocoon and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks more. Then the cocoons break and perfect ants appear. Now it's time for teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. So first they are fed nicely, then they are treated for all the works that they are supposed to do. Out of all the baby ants that have come out of the cocoon and the eggs, what happens is like some of them they watch the worker ants, some of them do the soldier ant work, some of them will work as other ants, and that's how their entire community live together. An ant hill is not only a home for ants, but also for some other creatures, beetles, lesser breeds of ants and the green fly. Now a common question is like, we will never want someone to live in our house, then why do ants allow? So here comes the answer, that why do ants want these alien creatures to live in their nest? And for several reasons. What are those reasons? Some give off a smell pleasant to ants' senses, others give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playthings like cats or dogs to human beings. So when I am reading this chapter, what I am realizing is, if I have a closer look to the ants, the families, their traditions and everything that they are doing, I can very well relate it to all the human community that we do, because we also do all these things in the same manner, almost in the same manner as they all are doing. The green fly is the ant's cow. So what do the cow does for us? The cow is giving us the milk, right? Everybody, like, if you go somewhere in the village side, you'll see that humans, they milk the cows. And what happens is like the same thing green fly is doing for the ants. The ants train it to give honeydew. Honeydew is basically like the milk with a touch of their antennae. They milk it just as they milk the cow. Have humans learned as much as ants have? Perhaps they have, but they haven't put their learnings to good use. So why are we putting on this question is like, we all say that humans are the most intelligent on this planet, and that's why the author has said that, do you think that humans have learned as much as the ants they know? And then he himself answers this question saying this, that yes, we believe that humans are way more intelligent than the ants, but they have not put their knowledge and their intelligence to the perfect use, to the good use. Have we done that, we would have been certainly in a happier situation rather than all the troubles and the sorrows that have surrounded us. So, we should be as hard working and as sorted like the ant community is. Moving on back to the chapter, they may still learn a few things from this tiny teacher. So, what all we can learn from our teacher today is, so for today's lesson, I am not your teacher. Who is it? It's the ant. Whatever I am teaching you, just grasp it, but all the basic learnings for today is what the ant is giving you, and they are, one should learn the quality of being a hard worker, sense of duty, discipline, cleanliness, care for the young ones, and above all, a firm loyalty to the land where they live. So, wasn't that a wonderful chapter that has taught us so many things, and that too from a creature we have never noticed. So, next time when you see an ant around you, just recall all the other things that we have learned today and try to imbibe all these qualities in your daily life to be a successful human being. Thank you.